Yes. Yes, I think we are ready to start this webinar. So welcome to all of you. This is one of the webinars in a series of webinars that the consultancy network, The Wilderness, we are hosting in May, June. We already have had, I think, 4 webinars, so this is the 5th. And this is the second with representation from other continents, this time from Vietnam. The topic from this webinar is civil society in the shadow of the corona control in a highly centralized society with high population density in Hanoi and Hochiminh City. I experienced that myself. What have been the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic on civil society organizations in Vietnam? So welcome to all of you in this virtual meeting room. And of course, especially welcome to Ms. Linh. I think you should say your full name when you, in a moment, get the possibility to introduce yourself. Ms. Linh is the Executive Director of the Management and Sustainable Development Institute in Hanoi, but are operating as a civil society organizations in the whole country of Vietnam. So in a few minutes, you will have the possibility to introduce yourself. But first, I'd like to say we have also international guests from Latin America and possibly also from Africa will be joining us later. Very welcome to all of you. One of the possibilities we have been using during this crisis is to use the internet platforms, in this case the Zoom platform, to bring together people and resources from all over the world. We hope that we'll also use these platforms more when we are on the other side of the pandemic. So this webinar is especially interesting since the corona pandemic originated in Wuhan, China. China has borders with Vietnam, and it is therefore interesting to hear how the pandemic has been handled in this perspective. Another interesting perspective is to hear about what opportunities and constraints there have been in dealing with the pandemic in the light of Vietnam as a one-party state with a very centralized community structure. So we look forward to that. But before we start with that, I would like also to introduce the overall objectives that we in the Wilderness have with these seminars. Because one could ask the question, why is the Wilderness hosting this series of webinars in this remarkable time? First of all, you could say that our network in Asia, Africa, and Latin America makes it possible for us to get status and also to hear about the joy and the strength that is demonstrated during the corona tragedy. Because we're very much like also not just to focus on the negative things, on the disaster, but also on what could this mean when this crisis ends in relation to the legitimacy and the possibility to act as civil society organizations. We also want to put faces on the grief and pain, but exactly also on the strength and joy that is demonstrated. We want, as a last thing, to explore the possibilities that webinars offers for strengthening networks, communication, and information flow across continents. And at the same time, to explore the possibilities to let the mutual exchange use a wider variety of cultural expression, not only words, but also with poems, pictures, videos, etc. There'll be a webinar especially dedicated to that as the last one, where we will have music, theater, poems, people performing from overall from the continents. So we look forward to that also. Before we start, some practicalities. Ms. Linh will give the presentation about 30 minutes, and we will take the presentation as a whole. Then you will have possibility to ask questions and comments, to give comments after the presentation, And during the presentation, you will have the possibility to write with the chat feature with questions you might have and which questions may arise during the presentations. We will afterwards, for those who have the possibility, like to have a little evaluation. So that will be after the 1 hour that this webinar is going to last. It has been very valuable for us to get this feedback. So to end the seminar, just 5 minutes before we end it, Ms. Linh will have the possibility to give some last remarks. And we will give a little introduction to the wilderness, and then of course to the coming webinars. So I think with these words, I would like to give the word to you, Ms. Linh. You have been co-hosted now, so you can make the presentations with the slides yourself. So Ms. Linh, again, very welcome to you. We look forward to the presentation.
Thank you, Johannes. And
you are
I'm very
right
glad.
now without sound, Ms.
Without
Linh.
the sound?
We have you. I ask. Yes, you should be possible to speak.
Can you hear me?
There's still something. Do you hear? Do you hear, Ms. Linh? Okay, so just me. So go ahead. Yes.
Yeah. So I would like to thanks again to Johannes to invite me to this webinar, and I'm very glad to see all of you. It is now more than 9 p.m. in Hanoi. So I'm at home, but in fact, like in Vietnam, we can come back to the office to work in the daylight already. So today I would like, let me share the screen first, and so you can see that?
Yes.
Yeah, good. So today I would like to share with you some kind of the information relating to the coronavirus in Vietnam, and also some kind of the shadow, and also some kind of the information. In fact, I prepared this slide 1 month ago, and I would like to share with you the story of Vietnam. But 1 month ago, I think we have the kind of the similar situations with other countries when we can control a little bit about the situation and come back to work. It's a little bit different now because like we come back to work like more than 1 month already, and everything come back to a kind of what we call new normal. However, I think like I would like to share the story of a kind of 1 month ago, and also give you some update because it's may more like similar with the situation of other country of how we can deal with and combat with the coronavirus when we next to China, as Johannes says. First of all, I would like to introduce a little bit about my organization, as we are a local NGO in Vietnam, and it's called Management and Sustainable Development Institute, and we established in 2008. Our vision is a world of justice and equalities, where civil societies play as the kind of central, effective, independent actor with their own rights, and the right to marginalized and vulnerable community are respected. Therefore, like MSD is taking efforts to enable the environments for the development of civil society organizations in Vietnam, and also like promote the right of marginalized group, especially children, youth, women, and people with disability. That's some of our core value and principle. So in fact, like MSD also cooperates with some kind of Denmark NGOs like NGO Fontana for let me see, for 8 years, and in many different projects, especially relating to promoting child rights and support vulnerable groups in Vietnam. In this way, we focus on enable to build capacity and promote civil society organization engagement in sustainable development goals and advocates for social enabling environment. We also try to promote business engagement in creating shared value as well as SDG and child-friendly principle for sustainable development. And we also have objective of educating and intervention and making intervention to promote the rights of children and youth and their family. As me, my full name is Linh Phuong Nguyen, but you can call me Linh. It's easier because Phuong Nguyen is not easy to speak in English. As I'm the executive director of MSD for 12 years already, but I have 18 years of experience in NGO. It's look like a long time, but you can think that I can start with NGO in about like 5 years old. It's okay. And I also like with MSD, we are leading the NGO in Vietnam and build capacity building for many NGO in Vietnam. Especially we have a national coordinators of a network of CSO in Vietnam, including 380 organizations in Vietnam. Okay, so let me turn to the main contents of the presentation today. So that's I will talk about the COVID-19 in Vietnam. And on April, we also made a rapid assessment on the effects of COVID-19 on civil society organization in Vietnam. So I will share the information relating to the situation in Vietnam, how we overcome the difficult time, and also like the challenges of CSO in Vietnam in COVID-19.
Yes, just to add to that, we have sent out this rapid assessment report, and I think all the participants have it. If not, we are going to send out the slides and the report also afterwards. Yes.
Yeah, sure. Thank you very much. We also try to share it as wide as possible, so that like people can understand more the situation in Vietnam. So as the slide, because like I prepared like 1 month ago. However, you can see that I have the slide with information relating to COVID-19 update on May 15, 2020. So that is on May 2 is again about like kind of 100th day that we battles against COVID-19. So that's like the COVID-19 start in Vietnam quite early on January 23rd.
Miss Linh, just sorry to interrupt. Could you make the slideshow so it is in full screen?
Full screen. I'm
yes,
sorry.
It's on the right hand. You have.
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah. Okay. Yes.
Okay.
Maybe. Yes, I think it will here. Yes.
Better. Yeah.
Well,
it started in Vietnam quite early on January 23rd. I think at the same time with France. Also, it's like in France, maybe January 22nd, some kind of thing. And at the time is we have the first 2 cases of coronavirus in Vietnam were reported, and at that time we are also in the Tết holiday, the New Year, moon calendar New Year in Vietnam. However, at that time, immediately 2 days after the 2 cases identified, the governments meet immediately with each other and discuss about like how we can deal with the coronavirus. I would like to highlight this because it's at that time is in the time of the Tết holiday in Vietnam. We have the Tết holiday until January 29th. So the government tried to react quite effectively, and especially like on January 30, the National Steering Committee on COVID-19 Prevention and Control was founded, like right after the Tết holiday. So that's like on January 13th, we start to have some kind of new case, and also like the case increase up to 16. And then we have a kind of more than 3 weeks, just have no new case to the country, spreading out in the country. However, like on March 6th, we have the second wave of coronavirus to Vietnam. And almost case import from other country. In this case, all case increase, like at that time, start increase dramatically and also spreading in the country. I think like at that time we call dramatically, but because in other country now it's still very few cases, but then now I think that's like in comparison with other country is not dramatic at all, because like the case like until the March 18, so that's like we saw that the situation is dangerous, and also the WHO declared the outbreaks of the new coronavirus is a pandemic. So Vietnam issued some kind of policy relating to social distancing, and we start apply the social distancing for the whole countries from April 1st to April 22nd. So that's we have 22 days without kind of moving. I will talk about the government response in more detail later, but in kind of summary, we have only 22 days with social distancing. And then from April 22nd, when we can reopen the kind of to finish the social distancing in the country, and people can start coming to work, students can start going back to school. We no longer have new case spreading in the country. So up to now, we don't have up to now, so more than 2 months, we don't have any kind of new case spreading in the community. We still have increasing new cases coming back from other country to the country, but we don't have some cases kind of spreading in the community. So it's quite safe in Vietnam at this moment. So in fact, like this kind of slide summarize the 100 days that we battle against coronavirus. And then we no longer have, up to now, we no longer have the kind of new case spreading in the community. Currently, Vietnam had 322 case of coronavirus, but 316 like I recover already, and 0 death. Why slide is not next? Okay, so let me talk about a little bit about the impact of coronavirus on some kind of the human rights in Vietnam, because this is the topics CSO in Vietnam is very concerned about. The 5 most affected groups are children and youth, because we have the school shut down for more than 3 months from the Tet holiday until the April 22nd. So for more than 3 months and a half. And the shutdown of school, we have no sufficient infrastructure for distance learning, and also like some kind of our research on the effect of COVID-19 on children. We can see that like why children at home, they have higher risks of violence and abuse. Also, like the migrant worker, we may have insufficient information, lose job, or difficult to access to the government subsidies. Though government can provide some kind of subsidies for poor people and migrant worker, however, the procedure is very complicated. And up to now, though they try to achieve the subsidy, only 7% of the subsidiary can go to the poor people. And also the people with disabilities, their lack of support, insufficient information, and difficult to access to the supports like the migrant worker. Also, so the COVID-19 affects to women when they have to with the inequality in the housework in Vietnam, so that the burden of housework always on women. So that's when they are staying at home. They have a burden of caregiving to children and elderly, also more burden on housework, and also suffer from domestic violence. Um, there is a record that while the time of social distancing, the hotline to call for domestic violence, like the victim of the woman, call to the hotline of domestic violence increase like 2 or 3 times in comparison with the other normal days. Also, like the worker, if they are without contract, may lose job and no compensation. Yeah, and also like we evaluate that with the COVID-19, we have top 5 like kind of human rights have been seriously violated. It is also like similar with what the target group, that education, gender, privacy, information, and closed space for freedom of assembly. With education and gender, I talked already, but we also have something relating to privacy violated when health monitoring includes a range of tools that check and monitor the behavior and movement of individuals. And also like the government dominates the kind of communication channel to spread out the coronavirus information, and different voice was controlled. Also, like we have the situation of discrimination and hate speech toward infected people and essential workers. When we evaluate the impact of COVID-19 on SDG, we think that it's been affects most on the SDG number 1, 3, 4, 8, and 16. And it's in more detail relating to the implement nationally approach social protection system and measures, and relating to the healthcare, relating to the equality in educations, also relating to the decent work and economic growth, and also like effect to the goal number 16, when we cannot ensure that the form of violence and related death rates reduced, but even is increased. And also like we don't have a really effective, accountable, and transparent institution at all levels. We may have in the high central level, but not in many provinces. I will talk in more details about this when I would like to change to the slide of COVID-19 and government response. So it's some of the kind of response of the government. I think the slide Vietnam is also evaluated is one of the best country with good, good government response. In fact, in some of evaluation, because like we also participate in a kind of monitoring COVID-19, including government response in different countries. And in fact, like Vietnam can mark 4 in 5 in government response. Though, of course, like it's not 5 because it still have some kind of the gaps. However, in general, the government response quite effective and also like quick and fast to ensure that the pandemic not spreading in the country. The first of all, they provide kind of very strict guidance and restrictions. They limit travel and control the border and immigrants like rise after the first case of COVID affected in the country. So at the end of January, so like kind of 1 week after we identify the first case, the government start control the border and immigrants. And they also stop a lot of flights in and out from the country. And now we still limited the fly in and out of the country. And in fact, like we only allow the Vietnamese people to coming back to the country. And all people coming back to the country will be in the quarantine for at least 14 days, and then also 14 days in their house. So that's the reason why, though we still identify the new case, but the new case only like in the quarantines, so not spreading to the local community. And in fact, we have only like a short time of social distancing from April 1st to April 20. Extend for Hanoi and Hochiminh City is a more higher risk area to April 29th. And that time was very effective because like before, as I said to you, when we have a second wave of coronavirus effect to the country on March, we had the case increasing from 16 to more than 200 in just 3 weeks. So that's then the government imposed the social distancing, and then it stopped the spreading of the coronavirus within the local community. Relating to the medical response, we have a no fee for Vietnamese people in quarantines, and also for the treatment. We apply the quarantine fee for foreigner and a free treatment for foreigner also. However, I know that's like in some later case, because the treatment fee is so expensive, up to some kind of 200,000 US dollar. So they also collect they are paid by the insurance. Also, like the government try to provide and ensure enough medical masks and equipment for the combat, and that is for the combat of COVID-19 through the country. This is our advantage because Vietnam is a country with like large textiles industries, so that's like we can't like produce medical masks and also like changing some kind of industry to produce equipment at the same time. So in fact, like Vietnam don't have to import any some kind of masks or equipment from other country, but now we also change to export to Europe and America and also many other countries. The local test kits also has approved by WHO and now test about like and now export to other countries. I think that's like with some kind of recent government meetings, they also would like to focus much on exporting the medical masks and equipment to the other country, so that the economic can recover a little bit. Also relating to the business and economy, we provide support for business and employee and vulnerable groups. In the education, those school, as I said to you, the school shut down for more than 3 months, and the online learning platform developed. However, it cannot meet the learning need of all children, especially the children in the vulnerable group of ethnic minorities or people with disability. However, the government also still try their best to develop the online learning platform as quick as possible. And relating to the communication, I think it's the first time that the government like focus much on communication, with very frequent communication through all kind of channels, up-to-date information in the telephone, daily message from Prime Minister to all citizens, so that people care about the effect of coronavirus. And all the people wore masks, like kind of fight all days, and also like washing the hand. We have some kind of very like friendly campaign to end COVID, stay at home, doing some kind of funny thing at home, like kind of campaign relating to thank you doctors and heroes, something like that. So the people have a good awareness about the COVID-19, updating with a different case in the country, try to stay at home and keep the distance with each other. I think is the reason why Vietnam can control the situation quickly. Relating to the topic that Johannes ordered me, that's relating to the government response in high population density, especially in Hanoi and Hochiminh City. It is very crowded cities. So that's the reason why the government also have to have special strategy for this kind of area. So they classify the level of trees area with high, very high, or medium, and Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City are and high or very high risky area classification. So that's in this way, the stronger, the more strict regulation applied. And then we also have a provincial guidance in limited travel, social distancing, lockdown with high risk area, some kind of the area with have a coronavirus patient, the area will be locked down. So some kind of district in Hanoi also locked down in some kind of time for 14 days or 21st day until all of the population there was dead. Also we classify patient and highly affected people from F0, F1, F2 until F5. FO is a pupil, is a patient and they are in hospital. F1 is a pupil who have a direct contact with the patient, so that all of them are in quarantine. And F2 is the people have a close contact with F1, so they are separated in the family with support from local authority. So they have to lock down in their house for at least 14 days with the controls from the local authority. So that's the reason why it's like kind of whenever we identify the new case, then we will have a list of F1 and F2 separate in quarantine or separate in the family. So the situation, although this kind of the restriction was very effective when we can stop coronavirus. But of course, you can see that like people have to lose their privacy and also controlled strictly by the government. We also have a mobile application for the health check, mapping the high-risk area and update every day through application. Public transportation resume operation after social distancing, but with no more than 20 passengers per vehicle. But now it's come back as kind of normal. Yeah, schools shut down and open later than other provinces with a rate of low risk. So, for example, like when I said to you that the social distancing stopped in the country on April 22nd, but the student in Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City, when we identify as a high or very high risk area, the student can only come back to school on May 11th. So like later than in other provinces. And we also have a limited crowd, shut down the entertainment area like cinema, sports center, and just reopened yesterday. The public gathering to the limit has been raised gradually from 10 to 20 to 30s. And now we still try to not encourage crowd. Though though as I said to you, for the last 2 months, we don't have a new case spreading in the community. Okay, so relating to the effect of COVID-19 to civil society organization in Vietnam, I saw that I don't have much time left, so I will try to be quick because you also read already. However, it's like MSD conducts this kind of survey in the time of social distancing and only in 10 days. So that's like it reflects the effects of COVID-19 of civil society organization in Vietnam in the social distancing time, and we like kind of meet a lot of challenges than advantages. However, now we coming back to work like for more than 1 month, 1 month and 1.5 months already. And CSO in Vietnam now start to adapt with the situation, try to restructure, re-strategize, and also try to do like different ways to combat, to adapt with the situation. So let me summarize a little bit relating to COVID-19 effect on CSO operation and management. So that we have like almost of organization encounter delays in operation, of course, and like always also like encounter the delay in operation for like a quarter. And we have just like coming back to some kind of offline activities for a month only. We still try to maintain the online activities to keep safe. And also like we fishing challenge in and also like the almost CSO fishing drilling revenues and difficulty in communicating, coordinating, and operating with partners because of the social distance, and also the limited travel. Up to now, I still, it's the first time in my 18 years working with NGO, I have a 6 month not going out of Hanoi. It's really the first time. And also slide CSO very worried about the challenge, the future challenge in mobilizing resources from development partner, because like CSO in Vietnam relying much on foreign aid, and also like from the corporate sector, because they may suffer from economic downturn post-pandemic. So that's the reason why like CSO see that they may have to concerns about the restructuring, and also change the economy, change the strategy, also diversify the funding sources to adapt with the new situation, because it's not only affects this time when we have a social distancing or in the COVID-19, but because the COVID-19 is pandemic all over the world. So it's definitely that it will affect us in the long term, new strategy. I'm sorry. The other things that the CSO also concerns much is about the changing demand of the vulnerable groups that they are serving. Because like after COVID-19, with the economic depression, with the effects on migrant, on children, on the people without contract, so the demand also changing with some kind of top priority relating to need the emergency response, for example, so that the CSO in Vietnam also need to capture the new needs, and also like how to deal and meet with their demand. Yeah, and they also meet difficulty in supports like higher vulnerable group, because like they facing delay in community service, unable to reach and support client due to the social distancing, and also like unable to forecast the pandemic cost to develop client support plan. So that's many things that we don't know yet about the future. I think it may happen all over the world when coronavirus is still some kind of secrets for us. So that to respond to COVID-19, CSO in Vietnam try to manage the chain, to promote the chain management, develop contingency and resilience strategy and plan, and promoting digital transformation and application. Now in Vietnam, every day we can see like a lot of online workshop, working far from home, and also use different technical application to work. In fact, for example, with my organization MSD, we also try to train on the kind of the like normal operations to use by technology. So that's like we prepare that if we coming back to the social distancing time, we can still maintain our works. And also it's like organization try to restructure, well prepare, capacity building for the organization, trying to focus on diversified fundraising efforts. And also it's like it's a good time to do the social media campaign, to do online research and to provide statement, dialogue with the government, and also contribute to protect the vulnerable group, to ensure that no one left behind. Because like when the government tried to control the coronavirus, as I said before, though it was very effective, but it also still violates some kind of human rights and also left many groups behind. Um, and in supporting vulnerable groups, we, in fact, like in the social distancing time, we have a limited initiative because it was difficult for us to outreach them in social distancing. So CSO only focus on emergency response or changing the activity from offline to online, develop material to raise awareness and campaign on coronavirus prevention. I have to say that I think that's like in Vietnam, the material, we have an abundance of material and program to and very friendly to raise people awareness on coronavirus prevention. So that's the reason why even the like 2 or 3 years old children can understand clearly that coronavirus is dangerous. They have to wash their hands every day. They run and down the washing hand, washing masks, and also like keep distance with other people. And also it's like we try to do the joint advocacy, yeah, I said before, that joint advocacy efforts with statement and policy advocacy to protect the people. Yeah, and with the way forwards, in Vietnam, among CSO now, we are trying to encourage each other. And we think that we've been taking challenge and change, adapt with the situation, and we will lead in change. So some of the solutions that we propose that we will network with each other and provide some kind of mutual aid group and initiative to support the vulnerable group. We're investing in trade management and digital transformation. Vietnam is a country that's like grow fast with technology, so that people also try to adapt with the situation and using technology quite quickly. We still also like strengthen, improving the communication and campaign, diversify funding sources, and building culture of giving. Relating to the culture of giving in Vietnam before, like kind of, it's very difficult for CSO to raise funds from individuals because we don't have a culture of giving like it. But CSO in Vietnam relying much on international aid. However, like the COVID-19 kick off a kind of solidarity among the community, and like though we have a social distancing, but it seems that it's also connect people. So that's the reason why it's a good time for CSO in Vietnam to kick off the culture of giving, the positive giving of the individuals, and people now start ready to donate. So it's some kind of thing, it's some kind of positive points in Vietnam. And also it's like, as I said to you, it kicked off the kind of solidarity among the country. So it seems that it's more effective to partner with each other, from the CSO to the business and also the government. to share the kind of common goals of combating with the COVID-19 and ensure that the country will not downturn like kind of things. And in this way, we can also play like bigger roles and advocacy in the advocacy and in the development process. So in fact, like in Vietnam currently, we coming back as some kind of thing like new normal, we call it. So that's whenever you call in Vietnam, we will see a kind of automatic voice as like, still be careful, we coming back to the new normal slowly. We try to improve the economy, try to come back to work. However, we have to still be careful with social distance, with keeping distance, washing hands, and something like that. And in fact, like Vietnam nearly coming back to normal because we go to work every day now. The crowd not limited anymore. However, we still have a travel a little bit limited in travel and recovery. And among CSO in Vietnam, we estimate that and we prepare that maybe the third wave of COVID-19 may coming back on winter, maybe on October or November, and we will take this time to be well prepared for this. So CSO together to analyze the situation and also identify some kind of different steps that we would like to take. For example, from May to July, we try to restructure the organization, changing the goal, and also we focus some kind of the delay activity, offline activity, maximizing the offline activities when everything is quite normal at this moment. And we also try to prepare for the next waves of COVID-19 with transformation, our kind of activity, working closely with the vulnerable group, and also not only well prepared for us, but also well prepared for them. Identifying their needs if the COVID-19 coming back again, and and also like we think that like so now people coming back to normal in the street, people no longer wear masks because we don't have the case spreading in the community for the last 2 months. But we can see that like whenever if we identify like one case only, I believe that all people will coming back to the discipline to ensure that the COVID-19 will not spreading in the country. So at the end, I would like to show make you hear a song that of Vietnam that we call End COVID, and I think that is also spread out in the country, so it also has English version. So I will have you to hear a little bit about the English version of Gen COVID. It's very famous, and it's also like to make old people, even as I said to you, even the like my kids 4 years old, she can run the whole song. She can dance with the whole song. Yeah. There's a virus and it's dangerous. People call it Corona. Our bad blue is coming for us. Yeah, let's not go too far. Of course we have to stay on guard, fight against this virus. Together you and I, we should stop it before getting worse. Wash your hands, wash, 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 wash,
don't touch eyes, don't smile. Let me go into all the crowds. You don't need to go around, go around. Take care of your health. Take your place, clean and show yourself. Give the best to everyone else. You don't need to go around, go around. Precise, but it's true, people die from the virus corona. Oh, yeah. And there's a will, and I'm sure there's a way. We'll take back those so good days. Of course, we have to stay on guard, fight against this virus. Yeah. Together, you and I, we should stop it before getting worse. Hands, smile now. Stick your hands, don't touch eyes, don't smile. Let me go into all the crowds. You don't need to go around. Take care of your health. Take your place, clean and
Thank
show
you,
yourself.
Miss Lin. I think given the time, we would love to hear all of the video, but I think we will also love to ask some questions and comments. So I think I think you're very close to finishing your presentation.
Thank you very much for listening. I know that it's quite long because I still want to
Yes,
tell
yes,
things.
exactly.
Yeah, I'm ready for any kind of comment and question, and I also share with you the more
Yes,
information.
thank you. Thank you very much. And now we open the floor to questions. And I think you can just use the chat room, or you can raise your hand, and then you will have the possibility for, I think we should make it short questions and comments. So anyone out there who has something to ask or to comment?
I saw the question of Gabriela that
Yes,
that's
I'll
the data
just,
were presenting is gathered by your organization. While the data relating to the coronavirus in Vietnam is gathered and updated by the government every day. Until now, we still got the update information. But of course, relating to the effect of COVID-19 for CSO is MSD to lead the survey, and we got conduct the survey in just 10 days to have a rapid assessment with more than 100 CSO through the country to contribute to the research. So I don't know which kind of data that you were talking about, but the data of coronavirus provided updated by the government every day. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I was particularly, I like the slide you had about because we are also working a little bit with the SDG, with the sustainable goals, and this to matching this the effect of Corona in that connection. I think that's actually very interesting. I wonder if you can find that from other countries. I think that would be interesting to see if other countries have this kind of.
In fact, like MSD joined a network of some country in Asia. So that's like we provide updated weekly with each other about the situation of coronavirus in each country. And we also measure the effectiveness of government response, the effects of COVID-19 on violation of human rights, on also like impact on SDG in different countries. I think the reports will be issued at the end of this month. And Vietnam is also one of the country in comparison. And as I said to you, that Vietnam have a quite high points in this kind of index, because like we have a good response from the government. Only have violated some rights still have some kind of gap in violating some kind of human rights. I think the report is it will be issued at the end of this month. So please, I can give you the email and you can email me so that I will provide you with some kind of the update when we have the report ready. But relating to some kind of the information from Vietnam, I can provide to you because we have to join the research. Yeah.
Thank you very much. We will give it. We'll share it with the participants here and others who might be interested also. I have a short question about the ethnic minorities in Vietnam, because I know there's a lot of ethnic minorities groups. And how has the corona pandemic been handled regarding to these groups?
Well, we also conducted research on the effects of coronavirus on children, especially ethnic minority children and their family. In fact, like we have only one case in Hà Giang, identified in the ethnic minority areas. So that in this the case also identified quite early and not spreading out to other people. However, because of the kind of social distancing and also the lockdown in Hà Giang, so that's the ethnic minority also affect a lot. In some way that the food security at this time is at the social distancing time was quite okay, because they can like grow of have a kind of recover by themselves and do the farming by themselves. However, they have a limited access to like kind of public health care or education, especially relating to education. The ethnic minority children was affected a lot. So that's because like in other kind of areas when people can learn from distancing through television or online learning platform, ethnic minority children don't have the enough like infrastructure to do it. Also, like there is increasing child labor in this time, because like with the economic downturn of the family, the ethnic minority children may have to suffer from like child labor. They have to do more housework with the burden to keep the burden of the economic issue of the family. The other effects that we also concerned that we also have a child marriage at this time. With the social distancing and the children did not go to school, it seems that like a lot of like child marriage and child wedding happened at that time, that the social worker cannot outreach and like kind of to prevent. So that within the social distancing, the ethnic minority is one of the most like a risky group, and also affected a lot, though they are not affected much by the pandemic, because they almost like case identified in Hanoi and Hochiminh city, where we have like kind of international airports. And after when we come back to the new normal now, so ethnic minorities still have difficulties in accessing the subsidies from the government. Though, as I said to you, though the government issues the policies that with like a very big amount of money, like big gifts, some kind of big gifts subsidized in some kind of recent years to the vulnerable groups. But an ethnic minority also meet difficulties in assessing and this kind of subsidized. And as I said to you, after 2 months, only 7% amount of money can be like to given to the right people. It's not because people don't need it. It's because of complicated procedure. And also the local government seems that they work on a kind of bureaucracy manner. Yeah.
Thank you very much. I think we would like all of us to ask more questions and comments, but time is not on our side. So I think we should go to the concluding remarks. And then for those of you who have time, we would like afterwards to make this evaluation, but maybe also if you have time, Ms. Linh, to ask you some questions and comments if it's possible still for you. So, but I will give the word to you for if you have some final remarks, comments.
Me, well, I think that's like I also talk a lot, but well, I think that's like the story of Vietnam is encouraging. So we are one party country, also has a lot of like kind of things that are not very good. I have to admit that. However, I believe that like when we can kick off the solidarity of the country, and also like to promote the connection and also to say common value among people, we can together to overcome the difficulties. Like in my life, it's the first time that I saw that the people really trust the government at this time, and also try to like to take care of each other, try to encourage each other to overcome the difficulty. So that's the reason why I think that it can give a size for the other country, that if we like taking this challenge, like try to give solidarity with each other, adapt with the situations, and try to overcome it, we can do it. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Ms. Linh, for a very
well prepared for
yeah.
the coming challenge.
Exactly. So thank you very much. It's been very interesting, especially because you can say Vietnam is a special country in the way the possibilities of handling it. So this insight, I think, as you said, it's an inspiration also for other countries. But of course, on the other hand, there are also the discussion of this violation of human rights, especially around the individual freedom, which is a discussion we also have here in Europe, you know, and of course also in the United States. So it's going to be interesting to see what will be the evaluation of these things afterwards. And there, I think it would be quite interesting also to get an insight into what your evaluation will be regarding the state and the state's behavior, but also the civil society. Another thing I would also highlight here, it is what you say about the donor priorities, because, you know, it is, I think it's a concern with you, but also with some of us part of the international donor community, it is that will we still give priority to primary health care, to things that can make more resilient the community-based organization also regarding to this. So we're looking also forward to maybe get some updates from you and to keep in contact with you. So thank you very much again for your presentation. And now I will just give the word to Gabriela. Would you just say a bit about the wilderness? I just asked to unmute you.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I think that most of the participants actually know us. So just very, very briefly, the Wilderness is a consultant network, and is built on the diversity of our professions and cultural backgrounds. Hi, who was there? And we are offering different services. Most of our services are tailored, so it's always the best to contact us and talk to us. And we have some different areas, like Johannes is about project development in development countries, project counseling, evaluations. I'm working more with company culture, global mobility, and culture training. But you say it's a wide range, so the best is to go to our website. Maybe we can put it in the
Yes.
in
We'll just take
there.
it here.
And then you can contact us and have a talk. And the frame for our work is also the SDG 17. So that's also an area where we have some knowledge and experiences in working. So come and talk to us if you need us.
Exactly. Yes, I'll just for a moment share the screen. I think it is shared right now, or no, I don't see. You can see the screen now, yeah, with our website, and you can have more information there. And of course, you can also have information for the coming webinars. Next week, we'll be hosting 2 webinars, one about Honduras, situation in Honduras, and others from Ecuador. So you are very welcome to go into our website and see if there's something who could be interesting for you or someone in your network. You are very welcome to share. So I think with these remarks, I must just see, because see if there was some comments out here. Yes, Peter, you're right. Thanks for sharing. Everyone, yes, and Alan also. Yes, so now we will finish this webinar. For those of you who have time, can stay, and we will just maybe have some follow-up questions to you, Ms. Lin, and also to make a little evaluation. So thank you very much for everybody to attend. And now we will then enter into the second part and start with if somebody has some questions or comments that they would like to get to say to us or to Ms. Lin. Yes, Gabriela?
I don't know if you are still recording. I have an off-the-record question.
Yes, so we stop recording.